I won the exacta, Mel cheered. $2,038. Girls, Jolene whispered, her eyes narrowing as she looked from Mel's cash to Alice's tear-stained face. I think we just found our producer. Oh, you don't know Mel. Alice wiped her eyes. He wouldn't part with a penny. Forget what you heard about the fool and his money, Jolene insisted. Mel's our only hope. They cornered him. Jolene turned on the charm, thanking him for the mucho, for the moolah, while Vera simply stared at him with wide, pleading eyes. Gee, congratulations, Melzi, Alice said softly. How you gonna spend all that? Well, I'm not gonna blow it by doing something foolish, Mel declared. I'll grab a flight to Vegas and hit the craps table. Mr. Sharples, Mickey interjected, sensing a mark. If I were you, I'd put my money into something a little more solid, like a big hit musical. Mel laughed. I happen to think you're nuts. I happen to like my cash, but the girls were relentless. They painted a bleak picture of the future. A depressed Alice, leading to a depressed Vera, leading to a depressed Jolene. Then you'll have 3 miserable waitresses working for you, Alice warned. That's what I got now, Mel retorted. However, the seed was planted. The allure of producer Mel Sharples began to take root in his ego. It sounded powerful. It sounded important. It sounded like he could boss even more people around. Chapter 28. Artistic Differences. The rehearsal studio was a drafty hall filled with dancers in leg warmers, stretching in ways that made Mel's joints ache just by watching. Hello, 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 people of my show, Mel announced, striding in as the newly minted producer. Mickey rubbed his temples. Mickey, Mel is not a producer, Alice hissed. He has no credits, he has no experience, he has no taste. Oh, he'll learn, Mickey said desperately. He's got to start someplace. Why here? Alice moaned. Don't they have theater in Guam? Mel settled into a director's chair that groaned under his weight. Okay, let's see what we got. Hit it. The piano player struck up the chords for Autumn in New York. Hold it, Mel shouted, cutting the music. I have a teeny suggestion. I think that the girls should remove their coats. Why? Mickey asked. So we can see more flesh, Mel explained, as if it were obvious. Mel, it's autumn in New York, Alice argued. It's chilly, the wind is whistling. Well, this year, New York is going to have a hot spell, Mel decreed. Remove the coats, girls. The dancers reluctantly shed their coats. They started again. Hold it, Mel yelled again. You 3 fellas in the back there, move a little bit to your left. More, keep going. Perfect. He had moved the male dancers entirely off stage. Now girls, come up here, come up in front, Mel instructed. Now you're safe. The audience won't be able to see the men. I might as well be singing off stage. Publicalita, Eustora. What a great idea, Alice, Mel grinned, completely missing her sarcasm. Now girls, when you do your strolling, put a little more wiggle into the hips. He demonstrated a hip wiggle that looked like a bulldog trying to shake off a flea. Look, we've rehearsed long enough, Mel decided after 5 minutes of work. Let's grab a coffee break. Let's grab a coffee break. Alice watched him leave, surrounded by the chorus girls. Her show was turning into a burlesque act run by a fry cook. Chapter 29. The Clash of the Titans. Disaster struck again the next day. The leading man, a local actor with magnificent hair, got a part in a Charles Bronson movie and quit. Would you pass up the chance to be brutally murdered by Charles Bronson? He asked Alice apologetically. He's got a point, Jolene admitted. Meaty roles are few and far between. Panic set in, but Mickey had a connection. I got a terrific replacement, he told Alice. A friend of mine is in town for a celebrity tennis tournament. Joel Grey. Alice nearly fainted. Joel Grey. An Oscar winner, a Tony winner, a legend. When Joel walked in, charming and unassuming in his tennis whites, Alice was starstruck, but then Mel arrived, dragging a man in a plaid suit behind him. Excuse me, Mel, Alice said, beaming. I have the most wonderful surprise for you. Well, I've got a big surprise for you. Mel boomed. Your leading man is going to be Jimmy Prescott. Jimmy Prescott waved. He was a bookie by trade, a tenor by hobby, and a man who looked like he knew the odds on a horse race better than a harmony. Mel, we already have a leading man, Alice said, gesturing to the legend beside her. This is Joel Grey. Mel looked at Joel Grey. He squinted. Yeah, so? Mel, he's very, very famous, Alice whispered frantically. He's won an Oscar and a Tony. I thought he was a tennis bum, Mel shrugged. He's offering his services for nothing, Alice hissed. And Jimmy is offering all his services for nothing, Mel countered. And Jimmy has that golden voice. I don't even know if Joey Brown here can sing. Joel Grey stood politely, bemused by the large man in the grease-stained shirt calling him Joey Brown. I saw you in George M. On Broadway, Jolene interjected, trying to help. And I saw your movie Carousel 4 times. I wasn't in Carousel, Joel corrected gently. Jolene, I think you're thinking about Cabaret, Alice corrected. The one with all those singing Nazis. Mel, please, Alice begged. Joel Grey is an international star. Well, are you telling me that Jimmy isn't well known? Mel argued. I know 100 guys that owe Jimmy money. It is unfair, Jimmy Prescott piped up. I wouldn't call him a threat. I wouldn't call him a singer. Mel slammed his hand on a prop table. I'll audition them both. It'll be the fantastic Jimmy Prescott versus Joel McRae. Chapter 30. The Coin Flip. The audition was the strangest showdown in theatrical history. Jimmy Prescott went first. He stood center stage, took a breath, and belted out Swanee. Swanee. How I love you, how I love you. He roared. It was loud. It was enthusiastic. It was adequate. So moving, Mel wiped a tear. Sit down, Jimmy. That was terrific. Next, Joel Grey stepped up. I haven't auditioned in a long time, he admitted. I'll do Swanee too, okay? Copycat. Mel muttered. Joel began to sing. But he didn't just sing. He performed. He danced. He emoted. The piano player joined in. Joel Grey turned the dusty rehearsal hall into a Broadway stage, his voice soaring, his feet tapping a rhythm that made the floorboards hum. Swanee, Swanee, I'm coming back to Swanee. Joel finished with a flourish. Arms wide, the room erupted in applause. Even the inanimate objects seemed impressed. Hey, he's cheating. He's using music, Mel complained. Are you satisfied? Alice asked Mel, breathless. I guess the choice is pretty obvious. Jenny Kestemelik. I guess the choice is pretty obvious. No contest, Mel agreed. Finally, Alice has a leading man, Vera cheered. He sure does, Mel nodded. Congratulations, Jimmy. What? Alice screamed. Alice, I have to go with my gut feeling, Mel insisted. Oh, Mel, come on. This is unfair, Alice cried. Mel paused. He looked at Alice's devastated face. He looked at Joel Grey, who was checking his watch, likely wondering if he could still make a flight to New York. Again, I don't want to be unfair to you girls, Mel backpedaled. Maybe it was too close to call. All right, I know how to settle this. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a quarter. Jimmy, come here. And you. He gestured to Joel. I have a coin here. Now, heads, it's going to be the fabulous Jimmy Prescott. The room held its breath. The fate of the production, Alice's career, and Mel's $2,000 investment hung in the air, spinning silver under the stage lights. Tails, Mel announced, slapping the coin onto the back of his hand. It's going to be Dennis Day. Joel Grey? Alice corrected. Whatever, Mel shrugged. You got the job, kid. And so, the show went on. It had no producer. Technically, a confused backer and a leading lady who had aged 10 years in 10 days. But as the curtain rose on opening night and the applause washed over them, Alice knew one thing. there was no business like show business.